Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome to my event strategies video for the 2022 winter event. In this video, I will explain how to get the main building fully leveled for free, and I will do so by first going through the two main strategies and my recommendation. I will then go through the intuitive reasoning behind my recommendation before going through the actual numbers and the simulator I have made to simulate this event. I will then end this video by going through some diamond spending costs and talk a bit about the event pass and what impact that has on diamond costs. Now, if you are not familiar with this event, I do recommend checking out my other videos or my written guide first and then come back here, because this video does assume you are familiar with the mechanics of the event. One final thing before I start: if you do find this helpful, please consider leaving a like and a comment, and feel free to share it with your friends and guildmates. Alright, let's start by quickly looking at the two main strategies. So the first one is very simple. You save all your stars to spend on one or as few days as possible for the daily specials you want. This is very simple. You simply wait, press start, open as many presents on the same day as possible. Very simple to do. The other strategy is a bit more complicated. Here you attempt to get or complete the calendar, and to do so you have to spend a bit every day until you hit the day's daily key, and then immediately after hitting the key you stop playing on that day and continue again the next day to try to find the daily key then as well. So that's the two different strategies. As for my recommendation, my very strong recommendation is to go for the first strategy of spending as many stars as possible on one or as few days as possible. And that is it is an important part of this strategy, to spend on as few days as possible. Ideally 1 day towards the end of the event, but spreading it across 2 or 3 or perhaps even 4 days, that's fine as well. But try to do as few days as possible. Now, why is this? Well, first of all, let me just quickly say that you will not be able to complete the calendar for free. It's practically impossible to do so, so it is definitely not worth trying. I will also get back to why, even if you are spending a lot of diamonds, going for the calendar doesn't actually save you any diamonds. So I don't see any reason to attempt to go for the calendar, even if you are spending diamonds. And why is that? Well, from the presents you can pick up on the board here, a few of them will give you stars back. You have this reward here, which gives you 14 stars back. You have this shuffle here, which gives you 10 stars back. You have the show 2, which gives you 3 stars back. But most importantly for this comparison, the key here, the first time you pick it up on a day, you only get that day's key. But the next time you pick it up on the same day, you will instead get 1 key piece and 10 stars. And that's the big difference. By spending everything on 1 day, you will pick up a lot of key pieces and those 10 stars instead of the main key here. That means you end up getting more stars back from the event, which means you will be able to open more presents, and more importantly, you will get more matches so that you're able to progress further in the grand prizes, and this is important and necessary to get the main building fully leveled. Another difference between the two strategies in terms of this: if you are going for the daily key, you should stop after finding the key, but this also means that you will hit the shuffle fewer times than if you spend everything on 1 day. So you will also get slightly fewer stars back here from the shuffle. The main difference is the keys, but you also do have the shuffle. So those two combined means that you get a lot less back from the event if you spend a bit every day compared to spending everything on the same day. The actual number here, based on the simulator I will show, if you spend everything on 1 day, you will get back 37 stars on average for every 100 stars you spend, while if you go for the daily key, you will get back 22 stars for every 100 stars you spend. So that is quite a big difference, and that is crucial when it comes to the number of grand prizes you can get. So if you do go for the calendar, not only will you not be able to get all the keys, which I'll show in a moment, you will also not be able to get enough progress for the grand prizes. So with that said, let's actually go through the numbers and let me show how this actually works. So first of all, let me quickly show how my simulator works. So in my written guide, you can find my simulator linked here under the Event Simulator tab here. To use it, you simply have to change these values here for your own. Although, to be fair, you mainly have to change these two first ones here. The first available option here is the number of stars you start out with. For free, you will be able to get 1095 stars, although you will usually get some from incidents. So what you can do to simulate that is to either do plus and then whatever number you think you might get, 200 for example, or you could also just change this number here. But I like doing plus so that I have a bit more visual control over what I add and so on. Not really important. This second option here allows you to choose between these two different strategies that I was talking about. If go for keys here is false, it means you are spending everything on one day, simulating strategy number 1, which is my recommendation. If you set this to true, the simulator will instead simulate picking up the daily key every day and then waiting until the next day. So this way you can test between the two different strategies that I mentioned earlier, and you can see the results for those. So if I go false again, which, as I said, is spending everything on the same day, I can then press run, and it will run through the simulator. The other options here, the required progress, is how much progress you need for the number of grand prizes you want. So 300 is what you need to get the first building fully leveled. Number of keys here is how many keys you need to get the main, or to complete the calendar. This assumes here, for example, 21. You need 32 in total. You can get up to 11 from daily challenges, so you need to find the remaining 21 keys. And then here you can choose how many times the simulator should simulate this. Now it has simulated this 10,000 times. And based on that, you will get a bunch of results here, and also these 4 graphs. So before I go through these graphs, let me go through the numbers for the two different strategies, because I have already done the calculations ahead of time. I have them in my written guide. Just a quick aside, how many daily specials can you expect? Roughly 10 to 12 on average for free. Though as you can see, there is a decent spread, so you might get a few more, a few less, but around 10 to 12 on average for free. All right, let's look at some results when it comes to the number of grand prizes. So as I just mentioned, you need 300 progress to get the main building fully leveled. So here I have a bunch of graphs showing the distribution of amount of progress from my simulator based on a certain number of starting stars. So these two first graphs here show results with 1095 stars, so the amount of starting stars. This red line in the graph here shows the required progress for to get the one main building. And as you can see in this distribution here, around half the events resulted in more progress for the grand prizes, around half below that. So for free, this here is spending everything on one day. You have a 52% chance of getting the main building fully leveled, so a 50-50 chance. On average, you will get enough, but as you can see here, still plenty below. Now, if you look at the same number of starting stars while going for the daily key every day, so trying to complete the calendar, that chance drops all the way down to 1.3% chance according to my simulator. Here we can see the required number of progress you need, and only very few times did the simulator end up getting above that. You can see here that the average here is around 265 to 70, around there, which is way less than you need to get the main building fully leveled. So this kind of illustrates what I went over, the intuitive reasoning. Because you get fewer stars back, you get fewer matches, and here we see the actual numbers behind that. You will get less progress because you're not able to open as many presents, basically. Now, 50-50, that's not ideal. So let's look at some numbers with some additional stars from incidents. So here you can see that by only adding 150 stars, which should be very easy to get, you have 30 days, so you have plenty of days to pick up those 150. I know people on beta got 200, 300, around there, so you definitely should be able to get 150. So if we bump up the number by 150 from incidents, we can now see that if you spent everything on one day, so the first strategy, the chance jumps up to 99.8%, basically guaranteed to get the main building fully leveled. While if we look at the same number of stars while going for the daily key or the calendar, the chance is here only 62%. Much better than not getting any incidents farm stars, but still not guaranteed, so still way worse than spending everything on one day. If we add even more stars from incidents, around or 300 in total, if you spent everything on one day, pretty much guaranteed to get the main building fully leveled. If you spend a bit every day to get the daily key, again here pretty much guaranteed, 99.8, so not quite guaranteed, same as this actually. But yeah, here you can see that you are more or less guaranteed to get enough. So one thing you might wonder is, why have I chosen the 300 number here for the graphs going for the keys? And as I mentioned earlier, you are pretty much, or you will not pretty much not be able to get them enough keys. You're very unlikely to get enough keys to complete the calendar. If you are able to complete it, you would only need 260 progress, because you get 2 selection kits from the calendar reward. But let's actually look at it, why that is not possible. So another thing the simulator can simulate is the number of keys you get. So here I have simulated how many keys you get when trying to go for keys with the same number of stars, so 1095, then with an additional 150 and an additional 300 stars. And here you can see that according to my simulator, without any stars from incidents, the chance of getting enough keys, and again this is assuming you complete all daily challenges as well, is only 0.14% chance. Very, very low, next to no chance at all. If you add a few stars from incidents, it does go up a bit, but still 1%, 4%, we're talking very low chance of getting enough keys for the calendar. There is a very small chance, but the chance is so small that I definitely do not recommend trying. And another downside that I didn't mention already, if you do go for the calendar, again, you do get fewer stars to spend, so you do open fewer presents, which means slightly fewer daily specials. But also, because you do spend a bit every day, you can't choose which daily specials you go for. So not only will you get fewer daily specials, you will also get a lower quality, or you won't get the daily specials you want. So I don't see any reason at all to go for the calendar. I've also included this graph here, which shows the chance with 2,700 stars. That number will make more sense in a moment. But even here you can see it's not guaranteed. Very high chance, but no, not even guaranteed here. So practically speaking, you have no chance of getting enough keys, and combined with the fact that going for daily keys gives you less progress for grand prizes, gives you fewer daily specials, fewer of the daily specials you actually want, there is no reason to go for the calendar. You shouldn't. You should spend on as few days as possible. Ideally one, but a couple of days will be fine as well. You might be able to get enough progress with only the 3 stars, but to guarantee that you get enough, you should pick up incidents and get some stars from there as well. As you can see, the more you get there, the higher the chance of completing the main building is. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about diamond spending. So, as I mentioned in some of my other videos, this event, the event pass, costs real money, which is a real shame. It will cost around $15 if what we have seen in the past is to be believed, so around $15 probably. And also, as I mentioned in my rewards video, you can actually get selection kits for the main building from the event pass. So if we quickly actually look at it, so here you can see the event pass. The first 20 rewards here don't give any fragment or pieces of the main building, but after that, every fourth event pass price will give you 2 selection kits for the main building. From the regular grand prizes, you will get 2 selection kits or upgrade kits every 4 grand prizes. So basically what this means is that beyond the second building, getting further event buildings will cost you, or it will cost twice as much if you don't have the event pass. The first one is not quite as big of a difference, but still quite a big difference. So how much does it cost to get additional buildings? Well, to get the second building, you can go through the math here if you want yourself, but we're looking at around 3 to 4, perhaps 13 to 15,000 diamonds, around there, if you don't have the event pass. While if you do have the event pass, that drops down to around 8,500 diamonds. So quite a big difference. And then beyond that, if you want additional buildings, so here I have calculated or included a few ticket stars from incidents. Those are included here in the first one. But beyond that, you need you need to travel twice as far in the grand prizes if you don't have the event pass, which means the cost is twice as much, around 16,800, so around 17,000 if you don't have the event pass, while with the event pass, it's half of that, 8,400 diamonds. So here you can see kind of the unfortunate thing that if you do want to get multiple buildings, the event pass really is a big difference. But again, the event pass costs real money, which definitely makes it less appealing. So that's a choice you have to make for yourself. If you are a person that regularly spend money on diamonds and you want to spend here as well, you probably should go for the event pass. If you are a free-to-play player, if you have some diamond farms, for example, perhaps even skip this event, wait for the Forgeable event, for example. That should be a good one to spend diamonds on. The St. Patrick's Day event should probably be good as well. So yeah, if you are willing to spend the real money, I definitely do think this is a good event to spend diamonds on. If not, it's all right, but I wouldn't say it's that good of an event. I haven't included it here, but you will not get that many daily specials for the diamonds you spend. Roughly speaking, I would say around 1 daily special per 1,000 stars, around there. Perhaps slightly less, but yeah, it's all right, but not amazing. So yeah, use that as you wish. Yeah, use it as you wish. All right, let's round off this video by talking a bit more about the simulator. How does it actually work? Well, first of all, let's look a little bit more on these results here. I didn't really go through it. So this first graph here shows how many keys you get and how many you need based on this number here. So if you don't go for the calendar, you can see that you get way fewer, you don't get enough keys at all. This is because the simulator, if you spent everything on one day, any key beyond the first one will be 1 key fragment instead, and you need 5 of these for 1 key. So that's why this is much lower. If you look at the numbers here, okay, they're not actually included there. But yeah, in any event, you don't really care about the keys if you don't go for them. This second graph here is the number of daily specials, or the distribution here. So you can see on average here around 10, 11, or 11, 12. This is with 200 stars from incident. Then here you have the grand price progress distribution. That's the one that I showed a couple of examples of later on. And if you want a smoother graph here, simply increase the number of simulations. That will smooth things out. And then finally here you have the number of matches. That's pretty much the same as this, just in a different form, because yeah, one match will give you either 1, 2, or 3 progress towards the grand prizes. So yeah, it will be roughly the same as this graph here. So that's the graphs here. You also have a few numbers here that you can look at if you want to. So yeah, first of all, starting stars here was 1,295, as you can see here, but you actually on average got to spend 1,779. And that's, as I mentioned, you get back stars from the minigame, so you're able to spend more stars than you actually start with. And the number of stars you were able to spend was 1.37 times more than what you started with. So that's where those 37 stars for every 100 stars you spend, that's where that number came from. You can also look through the other numbers here if you want to. Here we have the chance of getting the main building fully leveled, which with the 200 stars from incidents, 99.99. For some reason it skips when I click here. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, anyways. So yeah, and then here, it isn't really, if I lower this, and click again, it doesn't take that long as you can see. If you increase it, it does take longer, of course, but it doesn't take that long to calculate. So here you can see 51%, as I mentioned earlier. But if you, here you also have some numbers for if you don't, if you don't get the get enough progress for them for your target for getting the full building. So here you can see that the unluckiest player was missing 44 progress, but on average 11.5 progress, which is around, let's say, 6 matches, so around 60 missing stars. That's around, what, 40 starting stars, so yeah, roughly, I don't know, 400 or 500 diamonds missing if you were to get the final pieces from diamonds. But as I mentioned, yeah, just try to pick up incidents and you should be fine. So that's the simulator, but how does it work? I will not go through the actual code, how it works, but I'll go through the logic, of how it works. So basically, it starts off with the number of stars here. I also have, I basically create a board of 18 prizes. 12 of those I simply ignore. That's the random rewards that gives you units, buildings, and so on. Those are not helpful. I keep track of the 6 others though. The daily special, the key, the show to, shuffle, 14 stars, and the double reward. I think I covered all there. I keep track of those. And then I simply play through the event. So I subtract 10 stars from the number of stars I have. Then I pick a random present. I add whatever rewards I got from that to a list of rewards. If it is stars, those stars are added back to the number of stars I have. If it is a daily special, that is added to a number of daily specials, and so on. And this continues and continues. So it spends 10 stars, picks a random reward. If it's the shuffle, for example, it resets the board, and so on. So it just keeps on playing, and then when the player is out of stars, it tallies up, or it adds all of these results, the number of keys, the number of daily specials, and so on. Add those results to a list, and that list is then used to create these distributions here. So for every play simulated event, 1 entry is added to this list. So here, for example, you have 50 players ended with, I don't know what, 278 or whatever this number is. So that's how I create these graphs for the different metrics there. Now, one factor you usually you don't have any choice on what reward you get, but sometimes you pick the choose 2 option, and that's accounted for here. So if I get the choose 2, the simulator will pick 2 rewards at random, and those will then be known going forward or until the next shuffle. So then the next time around, if there is a good reward in any of those 2 revealed rewards, it will pick those instead of picking a random present. If not, it will simply pick a random present again and continue until it hits a shuffle. So it does take account for that. If you want to see the actual logic, the logic for that is here at the top. But it basically follows my recommendation. If I go back here, here I have some recommendations on when to do or pick these different options if you get them in the reveal 2. So I don't know, let's quickly go through them, I guess. So the double payout, it always picks that because that it has a chance of doubling a good reward next time. If there is a shuffle, the simulator will choose it after it has found the daily special. And yeah, only then will it pick it. It will always pick the 14 star. It will always pick the calendar key as well, even if you're going for daily specials, because getting the key quicker means that next time you get the key, you will get those 10 stars back. It will, of course, pick the daily special. And there is a special situation where if you get the double payout and any of the other rewards here, it will first pick the double payout and then the rewards here. And yeah, if there is a shuffle and daily special, I don't think I actually added this scenario. It's very rare, but my recommendation if this happens to you is to continue playing and try to get the double payout before choosing the daily special. That is not added in the simulator. It wouldn't change anything really. A very rare situation, but that's one situation that is not added, but all of these other ones are accounted for when you pick the choose 2. So yeah, it more or less tracks with that. When it comes to going for the calendar, the way it simulates this is that after it finds the first daily key, it shuffles the board. This simulates waiting for the next day, where the board will be automatically shuffled. So it does this up to 32 days, which rarely happens with at least the number of starting stars. And yeah, that kind of shows you, and that's how it simulates going for the daily key. It's as simple as that, and that yeah, really shows how that works. So that's how the simulator works. Not sure I explained it that well, but because of the way this event works, it is actually really accurate. Most events you are talking about chance upon chance. Each time you open a present, you have a next chance of getting this and this and this. There is still chance here, and that is included here. But for the minigame mechanic, picking the presents and all of that, that part is deterministic. That means that with the same starting board, if you do the same actions, you will always get the same results. And that means that simulating it is much more accurate, I think, than most events. So I am very confident in the results from this event. It tracked very well with my results on beta as well when I tested it. So yeah, I am very confident that the simulator is indeed correct. And yeah, based on that, and based on the intuitive reasoning, I came to the conclusion, or the quite easy conclusion, the calendar is not worth going for. And also the easy conclusion that the best way to play the event is to spend on as few days as possible and to pick up incidents. Alright, I have talked way too long, so let me end the video here. But before I do, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Perfect, Lorden, Rockin' Robin, Kim Cayley, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Suminat, JT the Rev, Merrick B, Hugo Kant von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Jude the Jonas, Filda, Susan Weiss, Megarock, Rocco, Merton Hermes, Henrik Derek Clarebert, Mattia, Opshi the Obsessed, Ref, Adaril, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, and Flavius Belisarius. Thanks a lot for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future. Nice, another one take. I did script the other 2 videos, but this one I decided to record live. Anyways, thanks for watching.